HarperCollins presents Shadows of a Princess, Diana, Princess of Wales, 1987 to 1996. An intimate account by her private secretary, by Patrick Jephson. Read by Patrick Jephson. Preface. For more than 7 years, from 1988 to 1996, I shadowed the Princess of Wales. As her private secretary, her closest advisor, I was with her throughout the events leading up to her separation from Prince Charles. I helped her carve out a new life as an independent princess on the world stage. I watched her struggle with enemies from outside, as well as others more murky that threatened her from within. As the darkness finally gathered around her, our paths parted. By then she was standing in her own light, obscuring the way ahead for herself and for many who would have acknowledged her as a global force for good. Since her death in 1997, I have come to question the credentials of some of the self-appointed guardians of her thoughts, motives, and values. It seemed to me that history was recording an image which bore little resemblance to the princess I knew better than most. It is common sense, not treason, to believe that the truth will do her no harm now. Neglecting the truth will profit only those who seek to gain, personally, financially, or constitutionally, from letting the weeds of misrepresentation slowly overgrow her memory. Of the many others who shared those years with me, I ask forbearance where their recollections differ from mine. Of the many more who did not, I ask nothing but an open mind. What follows, so far as it lies in my power, is the truth. Part 1. In. Chapter 1. Over the Top. The Princess of Wales was watching the man with unusual intensity. She leaned forward in her chair, anxious not to miss any of the action she had just been promised. Her eyes widened with anticipation. The man obviously did not know he was being watched, but he was ill at ease, definitely shifty. He seemed to be waiting for someone, and was losing patience. He took a few paces to the left, then a few to the right. He scratched his tangled, dirty hair and looked anxiously up and down the street. I didn't like the look of him. Then a second man appeared, dodging between a couple of pedestrians. If anything, the newcomer was even more nervous. He looked jumpy, and his arms made strange, twitching movements as he spoke rapidly into the other man's ear. They seemed to be making some kind of deal, because I saw money changing hands, but I couldn't hear what they said. Suddenly they were walking off together, slipping into a deserted alleyway next to the station. Still they did not know they were being watched. What happened next made the princess shriek with a kind of thrilled horror. As we watched, with a final furtive look around, the first man loosened his jeans and crouched forward. There was a look of fixed concentration on his face. For 5 seconds he didn't move. I had just realized he was defecating when his hand disappeared down the seat of his pants and emerged a few seconds later clutching a small package. Quickly he passed it to the other man, clearly his customer. Then, without a backward glance, the pusher adjusted his belt and returned to his position on the street. The police officer stretched across the princess and switched off the video with a click. Her hands were still clutched theatrically to her face, the shock of what she had seen still obvious in her eyes as she peeped from between her fingers. She caught my glance and giggled. Obscenity usually made her giggle. "Ugh! Talk about a video nasty. I hope you arrested him." "Oh, he's an old friend, ma'am, and so are most of his customers. We keep them under surveillance with these TV cameras. Then we move in when we've got the evidence we need." The inspector stood up and reached for his leather jacket. There was a whiff of aftershave.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?